Shalom. Ka halal, la Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wakar Kodash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wakar Kodash. And double honor to my teachers, the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Yakin Roy that are sincere and serious in doing the will of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wakar Kodash. 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. To you all. Yeah, I'm the brother disciple Koshab Benyamin from the branch of the Great Millstone, Barbados. And let me get straight to the point. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So Esau Edom is making moves in this island, Barbados. The video I'm gonna play afterwards is gonna show the directive that's coming down, right, from the Attorney General on this island, and there's going to be a family of the word, like hearing the words, you know. Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, not a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So Lord's the elder brother, the elder bishop, did a video, beautiful video, boy. Y'all should watch it. Y'all should watch it, boy. This video here, this video here, the Most High held his peace for too long.
Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakudash.
The Most High held his peace for too long. Now he is speaking through the storms. Yeah, in this video, the elder said, the Lord's removing his men off these streets. You know what I mean? Because the brothers ain't able to go there on the highways anymore. So basically, if they can, because of the power outages, etc., if they can, they will do the live streams and whatnot. But soon, all that's going to come to an end too, because there was a video uploaded, I forget who the brother was, but saying you got I think it's an ID, I forget the exact title, but YouTube is coming down on hearing the words of the Lord. You see that? But that's really the Lord taking away his word, because you refuse to hear the prophets be. You know what I mean? So the Lord's gonna turn his back on you. You understand? Verse 24, Proverbs 1:24, because they have called and ye refuse, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. So the Lord is going to remove his men off these streets. YouTube is soon going to be shut down, and you people can be asked out, boy. Right? Real thing. So I hope, I still can push this word best I can. You know what I mean? Ezekiel 3, verse shite, boy. Jesus Christ, boy. Whoa. Let me start at verse 24. But thou, O son of man, behold, they shall put bands upon thee, and shall bind thee with them, and thou shalt not go out among them, and ever make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb, and shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. So, it's that time, boy. You know what I mean? It's our time for you to take heed of this word, boy. So, the word of the Lord, let me get this last precept. Because I want that video to be uploaded, right? Precious in those days. Real thing, boy. When something is precious, boy, when something is very precious. 1 Samuel 3:1. And the child Samuel ministered unto the Lord before Eli, and the word of Yahweh was precious in those days. There was no open vision. Why? Because the Lord's gonna shut our mouths and remove us all together. And you people, boy, you get learn the hard way. Shalom.
Very generously excuse me from the rest of cabinet so that I can participate in this morning's press briefing, and I'm happy to have the opportunity to do so and to talk generally about the directive. We are now at directive number 4. Directive number 4 became effective as at midnight last night, and you will all know that it will continue until the last day of February, the 28th of February at midnight. Now, let me begin by saying that much of what has been contained in the prior directives, much of those specifics have been continued into this one. So there's not a lot that's different. However, those places where differences do occur, I think that they're quite significant, and I'm going to take the time to go through them. So the first thing, let me reiterate that this directive came into effect at midnight last night and will expire at midnight on the 28th of February. You will all know that there's a curfew in Barbados from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. But of course, I think any Barbadian will recognize that there have been a large number of vehicles on the road during the daylight hours, a lot of people moving about during the daylight hours, and we get the sense that Barbadians are not quite understanding what is expected of them. In fact, they're operating on the assumption that the only time that they have to stay in their homes is from 7 in the night until 6 in the morning, and that during the daylight hours they can do as they please and go hither, thither, and yon. We think it's a common sense thing, but for those Barbadians who seem to feel that they have carte blanche during the day, we have stipulated in this directive now that during the daylight hours, unless you have legitimate business with any of the exempted businesses or any of the essential services, unless you are to do any of those things, then you are expected to stay within the curtilage of your home. We understand that curtilage is a bit of legal jargon, and people are wondering, well, what do you mean by curtilage? Essentially, we simply mean the enclosure within which your house is contained, the boundaries of your property. So if you live and the front of your property is the public road, then that is the front part of your curtilage. Your neighbors' properties would be the ones to the left, to the right, and perhaps to the back. So curtilage, while it is a legal term, it means nothing more than it means nothing more than the extent of your property. That's basically it. If you live on a large piece of land, then you will have more curtilage than anybody else. But essentially, we are talking about within the boundaries. So when we say that you're not to leave your residence, we're not saying that you dare not step outside of your home. What we are saying that you can go outside of your house, but you cannot go any further than the boundaries of your home. So let's recap this. There's a curfew in place from 7 in the night until 6 in the morning. During that time, you're only allowed to leave your home if you are a member of the essential services or in the case of an emergency. Other than that, you stay within your property. During the daylight hours, think of that as an expanded arrangement. So you are allowed to go to the pharmacy. You're allowed to go to buy bread. You're allowed to operate your businesses as long as it's exempt. those are the kinds of things you're allowed to do during the day. However, if you are not engaged in that kind of activity, you are expected, you are required, in fact, to remain at home. I think that's hopefully, I think it's simple. Now, when you think about Minister Bostic's exhortation yesterday, that takes us into what we are now calling stay home weekend. And I think the time frame that he gave for that would be 7 tomorrow night until 6 a.m. on Monday morning. We've, as they say, tightened the screws a little further during the Saturday and Sunday period. So we have required in the new directive, and that is to be found at clause 8 of the new directive, and we're saying that Saturday 20th and Sunday 21st, you are required to stay at home, but there are also certain businesses which would ordinarily have been allowed to open during those times that we're closing. So, for example, we're allowing bakeries to open for the purpose of baking bread for Monday, but bakery depots and so on are not allowed. So those of you who had anticipated going to buy bread on Saturday or on Sunday, I'm afraid that opportunity is no longer going to be there. Gas stations are going to be closed on the weekend. Gas stations are going to be closed on Saturday and Sunday. And we anticipate that Barbadians will say, well, but what if I need gas? Well, if you think you're going to need gas, please use your common sense and fill up tomorrow. Fill up on Friday. Wait until Monday. But what we're doing is we're eliminating for Saturday and Sunday those other things that Barbadians would have anticipated they'd be allowed to do. So the beaches are closed Saturday and Sunday. Parks are closed Saturday and Sunday. The opportunity that you have to do outdoor exercise today and tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, that is now, I regret to say, eliminated. So while today and tomorrow you can go outside and do your exercise, you can do your jogging and so on between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., that will not be permitted on the weekend. So exercise, going to the beach, those kinds of things, going to the park, that window is effectively closed. Now let me say this. The one excuse that is available to you if you are found on the streets is that you have a pass. Let me say that it has come to our attention that a number of employers have been issuing to their employees letters accepted, and not just on the weekend, not generally. In relation, though, to churches, we have made a decision that we will allow the religious arrangements to continue. So even though it is stay-at-home weekend, we will still allow people to satisfy the importance of their religious experiences, and therefore the arrangements in relation to places of worship will continue to be available over the course of the weekend. And just to remind you, religious services, no more than 10 persons can be present either for the service or for the streaming of that service. In relation to funerals, if there are any funerals on the weekend, and Barbadians don't do funerals traditionally on Sundays, that's a Saturday thing, that limitation continues. No more than 10 mourners, one officiant, and the funeral director. I did earlier say that the only entity that is responsible or that issues emergency passes is the government of Barbados. And the one wrinkle that I'd like to indicate in that regard is that we've agreed that the QEH has 2,300 members of staff. Thanks for the question. I'm happy to clarify. In my opening statement, I did say that our concern has been that Barbadians are taking to the roads, notwithstanding that they are not engaged in business with either the essential services or one of the exempted businesses. It is therefore clear to us that we we need to do something. Now let's remember that we have a new directive that started at midnight last night and that will end the end of February. So let's purge our minds of what happened yesterday, what happened the day before, what happened 2 weeks before that. The current directive, directive number 4, stipulates that you can only leave your residence during the daylight hours, and I'm going to read it for you. If you are an owner, operator, or employee of a business or an establishment, which is found in this schedule, in this directive, or if you're transacting business with such an establishment, or for the purpose of visiting a beach or park, for the purpose of doing exercise, if you are currently involved in the COVID-19 vaccination exercise, either as a service provider or to receive a vaccine, or if you're involved in the Operation Seek and Save program. So essentially, if you fit into any of those categories, you have an entitlement to be outdoors, to be on the road during daylight hours, but only if you fit in those categories. So if you are not in those categories, then you are required to stay at home. So those people who felt that it was discretionary and that they could stay at home if they wanted or that they could go out if they wanted, that discretion has effectively been removed. So that only if you are going out to transact business with one of those exempted services, or if you're involved in the essential services, if you're getting a vaccine or giving a vaccine, or if you're involved in Operation Seek and Serve, will you be permitted, will you have an excuse to be on the road?